Hello, this is Sven, and we're going to continue the Nodemation for Beginners series today with this simple workflow. It will receive some data with our webhook functionality, receive data from another server. It will manipulate this data, and it's going to send it to another server. So in order to test this, or in order to show you what it does, I will first run it and then go into detail about each of these nodes. For that purpose, I'm going to execute the workflow down here and change over to Postman, which is my favorite program to make get and post requests very easily to test APIs and stuff. So I will use it right now with a get request. Pressing send, it says workflow got started. I will change over to Nodemation and we'll find these little ones, which tells me these all ran once during the workflow. Also, there's no waiting symbol here, so obviously it's successful. And then I'm going to change over to my webhook capture site, which is webhook.site. You can use hook bin as well, or other programs. I use this one because it you don't need to refresh it. It refreshes itself and you have a lot of information, so I like this one very much. And I have here no query strings, no form values, but I have a body which says greeting, hello Bob, have fun at the party. So obviously I received data. It's now 21:46 and I received it 21:45. So this is my request. How do we get here? How does this work? Let's have a look in detail. Go back to Nodemation and I will not only delete the data but start a new workflow. Let's do it. Can I do this? No. I have to duplicate it and then make a new one. So first of all, we're going to go over here and get us a trigger into here, and the trigger will be the webhook. Now, I will leave it at none with the authentication. You should, in production systems, you should use any form of authentication, because otherwise everyone can post or get data from your server, which is not very safe. But for this purpose, to keep it easy, we use none. We use the HTTP method get, and I will type a greetings webhook. This is going to be the name, and response mode and response code is correct. So when I put this here, I will get the webhook URLs, but right now it says empty. Why is that? This is because I haven't saved the workflow yet, so I will just do that. It's going to be the greetings workflow, save it, and now it gets the new number 6 right there. Oh, you cannot see it probably, so it's workflow 6. But now if I open this up, you will see there is now a working link. So I will just switch over to test and just copy it, and now move over to my Postman, and I will make a new request. In this case, it is a GET request. Remember, we don't have authorization, so we leave this blank. But you can also, if you decided to use authentication, you can use the basic auth or the, I believe it was the other one. I think the digest auth that you can use. Let's have a look. Basic and header. That's it. Yes, so you can use the basic right here, or you can use the header for authentication. Anyways, we don't use it now. We use the query params. Um, do we do it? Mm. So what's the purpose? Let's greet our friend Bob. And for this purpose, I'm going to use a key called name and the value Bob. And I will greet him for the, I'll say have fun at the party, for example. So I have an event called party. So let's test this out. I'm going to go back to the webhook node and just execute the workflow, and it says wait for webhook call now. So I will change back to here, and it says workflow got started. Very good. Now I have here, look over here, I have the body, I have a lot of headers, and then I have the query name Bob event party. That's good. So the first part of the workflow already worked. So let's greet him. So let's send the data to the output point. So for example, I will use the HTTP request. Let's do it slowly once again. Regular, and then I have here the HTTP request. And I'll put it here. And I will use a webhook capture site. So I will use webhook.site, for example. And if you're new to here, I don't know how this will look like, but I will just do a new webhook. Default status code is 200. Received data is application JSON. Timeout before response. I will leave it at 0, and the response is received because I want some response to know that this worked fine. All right, so I will use just this and put it here, and let's make it a post request. So we have body parameters as well, and our post should be greeting, and the value should be hey, to keep it very basic and just to test it out for once. So let's do this. I will use the start and deactivate this for a minute to just test if this HTTP request one does work. So execute the workflow, and it does not work. Why? Because the response format is JSON, but we are supposed to set it to string. I think this bug is already was already corrected, but in my version it's not yet. So I will set it to string, and the property name is data in this case. So we will see what happens now because I do execute node, and now I get the result, and it does work. I got the response receive, which I told the webhook site to respond to me. So I will expect to go to here, and right there I have the data greeting. Hey, all right, this looks good. So let's continue with the actual workflow. I'll remove this one again. And I want to use this data from the webhook that we received. Let me see, activate node, there you go. I want to use it, but I don't want to use only the, let me do it once again, execute workflow. Here is the, I don't want just the two parameters, but I want a a sentence. For example, hey Bob, have fun at the party. So how do we do this? We need another node to transform the data that we got to have a proper output. I will use the function item for this, and I will just execute it for once so you can see what this is all about. So I have here item.myVariable equals 1 and return item. So it returns my variable right over here, but it returns a lot more. Why is that? Because in this in Nodemation, you have the input data that gets processed by the nodes, by the following node. So for example, the webhook will pass all this data to the function item. And this is what you see here. It's all the data that you know. And now it will, by this function, it's just plain JavaScript, it will add my variable as well and return the entire item. So the item that was there before and the new variable. So it's going to look like this. What can we do now? We can do, for example, some greeting. So let's say, hey, what's up? And there's hey, what's up? But now let's use these actual parameters to make some fun, to have some fun. So I want to use, for example, Bob. So to refer to the variables, I can refer to this. So the parameter from the item is here query, and within the query it's name. So to refer to this value, I will use item dot query dot name, and let's just say set the greeting to the name to test this out. And now we have here Bob. So this is basic JavaScript, but I'm going to show you anyways because it's much more fun if you can follow along. If it's too slow for you, just skip ahead. It's no problem. You will see when it's going to be interesting for you again. So if I want to refer to this in a string, I'll use this fun symbol right over here, and to end it with this as well. It's the shifted one, by the way, not the other one. So I will use, hey, Bob. I'll write out the sentence. Hey, Bob, have fun at the party. So to replace this one, I will use this structure. And to replace this one, I'll do it as well. So it will look like this. And item query dot, let me see, event. So this is the same as if you were saying item dot greeting, hey, and so on. You may know this kind of syntax, but I like to use this more because you can just write out the string without chaining it with a plus character. So remove this again and check this out. It's very good for debugging. Execute node. There you go. Hey Bob, have fun at the party. Great. Now let's send this to the webhook.site, webhook capture. I will make the connection and I will alter this one. And I have here the body parameters, I used to have hey, but now let's use the value from the node before. So I'll delete this once again and add an expression right here. I pressed here and add expression. So current node, input data, JSON. I have here the greeting. Hey Bob, have fun at the party, right there. And let's go execute the node, and the response is received. Let's have a look. Right there, it's 10:02, and the greeting is, hey Bob, have fun at the party. It's a post request. Sorry, it's a post request, and obviously it did work. So now what happens if we do it over again and change the values? Go back to here. Move this to the middle, looks better, right? And execute the workflow once again. And now on Postman, let's say Jessica, have fun at the breakfast table. And send this once again. And now move over to the webhook.site right away. Let's have a look. Hey Jessica, have fun at the breakfast table. Obviously it did work without having another look over there. And now we see here it obviously did work. We can check the each of these values once again. Jessica breakfast table. There you go. Response received. I don't know if I mentioned it clearly enough, so I will do it once again now. Take a look at the webhooks one, because here you can find the URL of the webhook, and it's very important that you use the test webhook if you use the manual execution, and when you activate the scenario, you will use the production webhook. So let's do it right now. I will change over to the production webhook right over here. And instead of executing the workflow, I will just activate it. Do you want to activate and save? Yes, I do. So it's now active, and I will send, let's do Jess, have fun at the breakfast party, and send it once again. And now we see, hey Jess, have fun at the breakfast party. It got received. So this is a different webhook when you have the scenario activated from the manual activation. So to conclude this, we have the chance to receive data, to alter the data, to manipulate it, and then to send it over to another server. For example, an order, and you have to add something to the order. You can do it on Nodemation and send it then to your accounting software or to your web shop, something like that. That's what I use it for. So I hope this was understandable. I will, in the next video, I will go deeper into these nodes and add some more, and have a more complex workflow, so you can see and experience more about Nodemation. What I'm going to do, you will see on the title of the next video, because I don't know yet. I hope you had fun. If you have questions, just post them down below. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up, and see you in the next video.